I want to talk about the world first, and the United States. How do you describe or characterize our current standing in the world?
Oh, I think that our standing is high. I think that the world recognizes that the United States has been an enormous success, and that free political systems and free economic systems are something that work and advantage human beings and create opportunities and new products and innovation. You know, people from time to time fuss because it's kind of fun to fuss at the big guy, and we happen to have a prominent position in the world. But when I travel around the world, I find that people are interested in the United States, concerned about what it's doing, where it's going, how it's doing it.
And so then how do you describe what Vladimir Putin is doing or not doing now vis-a-vis the United States?
Well, I think it's kind of like economics. If you want more of something, you reward it. And if you want less of it, you penalize it. And he has said that the greatest tragedy of the century was the end of the Soviet Union. He clearly is interested in seeing what he can do to reestablish influence in various parts of the world that used to be part of the Soviet Union. And so he tests it constantly.
Are we tough enough on Putin?
I think it's important that he not be encouraged to think he can make mischief in countries in the Caucasus or in Central Asia or in other parts of the world. That he sees that there's disapproval of that and there's a penalty for it.
North Korea.
You're a tough one today. That's a complicated one.
Well, we've actually tried a lot of things in North Korea. I mean, and every president on both sides of the aisle, we've been nice to them, we've been mean to them, we've had sanctions, we've given humanitarian aid, we've ignored them.
You've been there.
I've been there 3 times.
Yeah.
You got any new ideas? My
hope is that there are a number of people around him who were with his father, and maybe some even with his grandfather, who have a pretty good life. They're getting well paid, they're happy, they probably have a little corruption going on the side, and they, I would think, would not have any great interest in rocking the boat, in doing something really bizarre. I think they do want to continue to develop their ballistic missile capability, their nuclear capability, no question about that, and gain influence. And I think the problem we've got is, I think the government currently in South Korea, the Republic of Korea, the bottom half of that peninsula, is not terribly friendly, I don't think, to the kinds of policies that would make life more difficult for the North. And we'll have to see how that evolves. We're
only 130 and some change into this new presidency. Your thoughts on how's President Trump doing?
Well, I've never met him, and I have, looking at this from a distance, what I see is a senior executive, political or business. First responsibility is to pick good people. And I look at what he's picked. He's got a good vice president. He made a good choice for the Supreme Court. His cabinet, I think the national security team is excellent. General Mattis or Secretary Mattis.
You know them from your...
A very talented, measured, thoughtful individual, and will give good advice, and has the courage of his conviction. So, and I look down the line. I mean, you know, at Secretary of HUD, I served on the board of Kellogg with Ben Carson. These are, I think his cabinet would rank up with most cabinets that I've been in.
Well, you get the sense that the town is pretty rattled. And there are lots of big changes going on. And you've got the president tweeting, which has got people pretty turned upside down.
There was a big fuss about his visit to NATO. And as a former ambassador to NATO, I look at that and I say to myself, what did he do different? He was exactly right and said exactly what I used to say 40 years ago, that our allies need to invest more in their national security. They're below the agreed NATO target of 2% of their gross domestic products going to defense. And I think there's maybe 5 or 6 countries that are above 2%. And they do need to step up and recognize that it's not a benign world. He said it differently than I did, and he tweeted some of it, but that was the message.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.